Welcome everybody to I want to say session 7.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
Forgot to check.
session
Seven.
7 of Western Wilds. What happened last time, crazy kids?
We entered a ruin. Oh, sorry, were you about to?
I can do. I've got a thing. So
Brad's one is
uh,
very nice.
I will let you do your thing.
thank you. An office building with black that moves and undulates, leaking through the walls, refuses to react to stone or sound, but hope draws its attention. Lily full, Misty blinded, Augustine no belief, and Will lost. Testing and experimentation, discovering how the ooze behaves, but learning very little. Moved by conjuration, deeper inside the facility. More testing. It wants to be whole, but no secrets divulged from facilities with no power. Wrapping feet in tents to protect them. An unknown thing in the shape of gems of green, red, blue, and yellow, slowly accumulating inside of them. I see a very puzzled look.
There's the tokens,
Crossing
Joe.
of the tokens. Crossing of
I do.
pools. Dark and deep, some move fast, leaping across, and some move with purpose. A hazard cleared, another token gained. Many doors to open, many secrets to find. Decontamination before finding the heart and power of the facility broken, but soon repaired. Zomil Systems, a voice in the dark, creator of arms and armor, when precursors believed they could still win. A map of the facility storage, atrium, control, and fabrication accessible. A prayer made in error and horrors revealed. A hatred of gods made manifest. Science, sword, and sorcery brought to bear once more, but not before Lily falls. Splitting and striking and a hatred toward restoration, eventually, laid to rest at last. Enemies defeated, rewards revealed. A message from the past. Doralus, Paytax, Ishnar, all sacrificed to the altar of Amatal. The reasons elude. In storage, power is found, and in fabrication, armor is created. A new voice in the dark, cloaked in armor and protection, offering warnings. For those wearing new armor, and those affected by the sickness, healing is rendered impotent. New friends above ground provide explanation, food, and good company for the night. With sickness discovered, a chance at healing in the south, a new destination.
Sacrifice on the altar of a mortal is very good.
I saw you react to that one specifically.
That's poetic as shit. I like that.
You're
I like
stealing
it.
that, aren't you?
Oh yeah. Innumerable theft is the watchword of the DM.
That's true.
Cool. Yeah, you guys ventured down into the earth inside Project Doralus. You came across what was referred to as phase fluid in some of the diary entries you found, but whatever that is, where it came from, you're not quite sure. It certainly wasn't created on site, but its origins remain mysterious. You were accosted by this weird bowl-headed creature with like many glowing eyes at various points around, which turned out to be a hazmat suit with a cheerful coyotl in it called Mokkel the Raber.
I love Mockle already.
You're up above ground, and you can see, there is a small caravan basically heading south. You agree. You sort of blah, blah, blah. The Southwood Road is certainly where the Raber are heading after staying the night here. So, said you may wish to travel along. You're certainly welcome to travel along with them should you wish to. I say, I think you guys had a long rest after you got out of.
We did. I'd like to do two things before
Yep.
we long rest, though.
Yes.
I would like to speak to our rescuer
Yep.
before and just go. Really, I don't think you'll know this, but I think perhaps maybe have you run across two of the children with the horns? One's kind of like a pale white with like ram's horns, and another is
Ram. What is Ram?
curly.
Ah, no, sorry.
You've run across two of the children who look like that in like a white color and a.
No, there is one of the children who I know who has but the horns are straight, not curly.
What? How old are they?
30?
Oh, never mind, dear. These are too young. They're quite young. Never mind. It was a wild guest.
Us?
Not mine, no, dear. No, my cubs.
No, I'm afraid not. We have some dealings with the humans now, more than we used to. But their lands are still, well, your lands, I suppose, are still disquieting to us.
It was a wild shot in the dark, dearie. That's all. I ask almost everyone I meet in these wild places if they've seen them, and all that I ask is you keep an eye out for them, and if you manage to spot them,
You miss with 100% of the arrows you do not fire.
exactly, dearie, exactly. Thank you, and good night to you.
Good night.
Uh, I think the only other thing she would do is find Misty.
Okay.
Hello, dearie. I just want to talk to you for real quick.
Hi, Granny.
Yes. Your family back home and wherever you come from. Like I think it was Harlan. You said that pad you have that it keeps beeping every couple of minutes. Perhaps you should give them a call, dear.
That's Angry Lady on the other side.
Yes, but angry ladies often quite care in their way about who they're calling. She's clearly angry for a reason. Is there a reason you don't want to talk to her no more?
Oh, she'll just tell me to come back, and I'm not done with what I'm doing yet.
Well, I'm here to support you, being out here and doing whatever you want. You're clearly an adult capable of making your own decisions, but you shouldn't shut the door on family, you know. This person, she's raised you, yeah?
Mostly, yeah. In combination.
Well, try not to shut the door on family where you can. In this, you know, was she kind to you when you were growing up? Did she take care of you? She didn't hurt you, did she?
No, not in the way that you're concerned about, Granny.
Oh no, I understand about both physical and mental anguish, dearie. I'm quite understanding about those things. So if either is in the cards, then I agree with you. You should cut them off. But
no, it's not. She was just shouty, like, get down off the roof, stop putting those things in that pan. It's yeah.
she would like the look of, this is where we are.
Is that things become clear?
For a second, you thought you forgot who you were talking to.
Yes, for a moment, and then it's like, oh yes, I gave this child a bunch of dynamite, and I remember that. Perhaps he was just trying to take care of you, making sure you're safe. That's all it sounds like. You should give them a call, dear. Even if just to say you're safe.
Very well. You've been kind to me, Granny. What sort of time is it?
Probably 10 or so at this point. Maybe later than that.
I will. Does the pad still have signal out here?
Only one way to find out.
But sorry, yes. Because I'm trying to remember. It's not my own pad, is it? The owl left.
It's one that was delivered for you, certainly.
Yes. Yeah. So can I check, is that pad active or beeping or?
Do you know how to? Okay, roll me. I'd say an Arcana check. It's
Cool.
not a difficult check, but yeah, give that. See if you can work out how the mechanism works to call out from it.
Yeah. So that's an 8 plus 14 in total.
Yeah, absolutely fine. Yeah, so you can see there's a little rune sequence on the back that basically charges almost like with the warmth of your hand, or with like the sort of slight life essence of your hand, of just like off the excess heat that is given out from your body. It is, you can, looking through the mirror, you can see the sort of branching network as almost like looking into a hall of mirrors. You can see the different sort of magical strings going off into various places, and you think you could work out how to sort of tug the right string to talk to a particular person.
Cool. As I'm doing that, can I step away from the camp slightly?
Yeah.
So the objective is probably only about 30 or 60 feet away, so I can still see everyone, but it's in the same way that if you had a phone call, you'd step out of the physical.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. Can I attempt to call the university?
The university, or
Oh, actually, does it have a recall function so I can recall the last number?
if you are trying to get hold of Ignatia specifically, you can certainly do so. If you want to get hold of Nicodemus, you can. But yeah, the option there is there to just call the university if you want to.
No, yeah, I suddenly realised that would be not quite what I was after. I saw that crafty look in your eye as if giving a skeleton an order. Yeah, not Nicodemus. Is it Ignatia? Ignatia, yeah. I'll call her because she's going to be the one who's most worried / angry.
Yeah. You reach into the mirror just with like a small sort of thought of magic, and then pluck the right string, and you hear it go on the other end, and you can see in that sort of relief in the mirror, you can see Ignatius' face appear in that sort of like Silver Surfer kind of relief, but still made of the reflective metal in the mirror. And you can see roll me perception.
17.
You can see that she is looking sort of uncharacteristically like done up, and like, you know, all three of you, Ignatia and Nicodemus, you're all kind of a little bit of the grease monkey.
Yeah.
You more in sort of neon and more in grass and wood, but you know, you are of an ilk certainly.
Yeah.
But yeah, she looks like she's sort of dressed up for an evening. And do you like highs or lows?
Highs today.
Cool. Yeah, and she picks up and goes, "Oh, Misty, I'm so glad to hear from you. Are you right? First of all."
Yes, I'm fine.
I'm sorry for how I spoke to you. Dad gave me a bit of a telling off, but it's only because I'm worried about you, pet.
Yeah, Granny explained that might be the case.
Granny, you've made contact with your grandparents.
Oh no, no. New Granny. And can I kind of? Is it kind of like an iPad in the sense that I can kind of twist it around to? Obviously,
Not really. It kind of works on an individual basis.
Yeah, no. That's absolutely fine. Some of the people that I'm traveling with. There's a nice old lady called Granny. And there's the businessman, which is Uncle. And then there's a couple of others. So there's
ouch.
There's I'm getting to you. I can see your face. So there's a friendly old man who's kind of a cyborg, and then the voice in his head, and I'm making friends with all of them.
Okay, that's a lot to take in. I've really got to stress this. You do need to come back to Harlan.
I'm not done. I have to find them.
See, they're gonna expel you.
Then I'll reapply later.
I don't think that's how it works.
If I leave now, I might never pick up the trail.
Roll me persuasion.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a 19.
Okay. Give a little advisory dice myself here.
Yeah, that's fine. Can it not be as compassionate leave, or like, can I? What's the word where you suspend it for a year?
I like sabbatical.
Yes.
I think that's more for tenured staff, but
gap year.
Like you see, as you sort of like ask that question, I think like you see a little bit of the tension sort of go out of her, and like she looks a little bit more defeated. Like I might never pick up the trail. It's just look, academia's always been my dream, not yours. I understand that, and Dad's always been more of a practical kind of guy, I know, but if this is really what you want, that's okay. But you've got to be careful. You're young. You don't understand how dangerous is it out there.
I'm starting to get an idea.
And she does give a bit of a chuckle. And look, stay safe. If you can make it to Ragbend, I'm going to be out there for the book tour in a little bit. So I'll be in touch as time goes on.
Sure.
But Misty Turner, listen to me closely, right? And take this advice to heart. You let the others die first.
Okay.
Okay. I've got to be on stage, so I'll catch up with you in a bit. But look after yourself. Don't trust strange men. Shoot first. Don't give the bastards a chance. And don't go delving into any places you shouldn't, okay?
2 out of 3 isn't bad, right?
Goodbye, Misty.
Goodbye.
Okay. Yeah. And the call ends.
I think like Lily wouldn't have been privy to that. I think she would have let her have the call, like watched her go off, watched her start the call, but then would have left because like that's a call between. So she has no understanding of what just happened.
Oh, you immediately get a call back.
What I do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And don't drink! And ends the call.
Oh yeah, the call.
Oh. Yeah, can I use that advice earlier?
Cool. Anything else anyone wants to do before you guys head to bed?
So from a practical point of view, when I get back, I will attempt to concoct a potion.
Ooh, lovely. Yeah, go for it. What was the... so that's Alchemist, yeah?
Yes. So I know what the chart is.
Yeah.
Would I know what I'm creating in advance? Like, I roll the dice to see what happens, but would you like that dice to be privy only to yourself?
That is a fun idea. I would say I have no strong feelings one way or the other. If you would like it to be a surprise, you're more than welcome to roll it privately to GM, blindly to GM. But I'm happy for you to know what you are, at least have to have a clue of what you're creating.
So, well, I know the 6 possibilities. What I might do is I will roll blindly.
Yeah.
However, if I roll the same number again, you can just tell me what I've rolled. So I know if I've concocted the same potion again. Does that make sense?
Works for me.
Blind GM roll.
GM roll.
Those.
I think mechanically you do know because
your
second one you get to choose, so you must be able to know at some instinctual level what they do.
Hey, never let it be said that I won't let players absolutely mechanically give themselves.
Well, Mike, this is Mike's first time using it.
That's
so maybe he could know what they are in future, but the first time using it is just chaos.
Yes, I like that because it's an experimental elixir, and to try and have some kind of arcing.
So you're there with a little sort of Bunsen burner, just with like a little rune crystal on the bottom that's creating the flame. And you've got like one of those big conical flasks, and you're holding it with tongs out, and there is just like blue smoke pouring from the top of it. And then you sort of pour it off very carefully into a test tube and cork the test tube. And you can see there are like little motes of maybe somewhere between like rock and lightning, like mineralized energy just sort of chasing off each other. Yeah. Cool.
I will save that for later.
Nice.
That may or may not be a clutch potion there.
Will chucks probably the third piece of paper of the evening into the fire.
Very good. Lovely. Cool. It is a phenomenal evening, especially having spent hours down in those claustrophobic confines below the Earth. And the galaxy spiral is just spread out all across the sky. And you all head to bed. There is no need to take watches should you not wish it. There's sort of maybe 50 or 60 Cortal here, and they don't seem to be...
It makes no difference to Will. He's going to be on watch anyway.
Cool.
Whether he wants to or not.
Yeah. That's a remarkably good point. Cool. As you wake in the morning, you awake to sort of the sounds of the Kyoto breaking camp, like the tents are coming down, the mounts are being watered. You can see one of the scouts has actually come into land on one of these enormous eagles, and is giving a report to Mokkel in Kyoto. I think Misty is the only one who understands what they're saying, like the details of what they're saying, but you can all get the gist of what is happening there. At least it is like an informational scouting report. And Lily and Augustine, could you both reduce your max hit points by 1?
I'm good.
Okay, that's fine then.
Oh god, is it the armor?
No.
It's radiation sickness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Do I? At some point, I'm hoping this gets restored.
Yeah.
So should I make a note of what it is now, so that if it ever comes back?
I think you can do just a simple flat reduction in your like.
There is an
one.
override max HP thing. If you just click on your
Yes,
HP,
cool. Yep, perfect. Yep.
or there's max HP modifier.
Mm-hmm.
A modifier might be better because then you can at least track that, assuming that's at 0.
Yeah. You both wake feeling a little nauseous and a little unsettled in the stomach, but there's no real bad effects.
Lily's old enough where it's like she might not. She's like, oh, she had some bad eggs last night or something, like kind of thing.
Yeah. Cool. The Cuddle are breaking camp reasonably quickly, to be honest. You guys have got the you guys have got a wagon here. Am I correct in thinking that? You bought one on the way up from
Yeah.
So you can absolutely all pile in. They are going. Let's go over to the main map. They are going to resupply at Fort Morgan, actually. So they are sort of going that way. Whether or not you want to follow them all the way to Fort Morgan or split off afterwards or before is entirely up to you. But it's going to be sort of a straight shot, like down there, maybe 3 days before. Probably not even that. 2 days before you get to the crossing off point. You can see that the mostly they're not even actually wheeled wagons. They're mostly either flying on eagles, walking, or riding these big monitor lizards with like the flat, flappy feet. And their wagons don't have wheels. They have large, broad sleighs on the bottom of the what are they called? Like skis on the bottom of sleighs. And it does sort of glide fairly well over the sand. You think it probably wouldn't do so well over anything rougher than just pure desert sand, but that's what is here. Mokkel is sort of riding in the middle of the group. He seems to be in charge of this sort of cadre of Coyotl. But there's a lot of other ones. This really runs the gamut. This isn't like a military party. This is like either a family unit or like a couple of families together. There's no differentiation. This isn't all soldiers. There's a mixture of old and young and different professions and some soldiers and guards, but also artisans and things like that. Yeah.
Can I strike up a conversation with a random one?
Yeah.
And just I'm happy to just skip the role playing of this.
Yeah.
But yeah, just try to subtly find out if they were involved in that big skirmish that decimated the Harlem forces.
An excellent question. You you sidle up to a random Gothel one is riding one of these big monitor lizards. And you're sort of looking up because Gothel are naturally taller than humans anyway, but on the back of this lizard is about 15 feet in the air. Do you like highs or lows?
I like highs.
Okay. You sidle up to this random Gothel and bring up a point of racial tension between your two peoples. And she stares at you with quite a sort of predatory look in her eye. But then roll me insight.
6.
6. You don't get a good read. She's just sort of staring at you, unblinking, as she continues to ride along.
I mean, if she wants to roll insight, she's welcome to do so.
Yeah. Continues to stare at you.
If she rolled high, she'd probably see that Will's actually a little bit nervous.
Didn't roll high.
Didn't roll high. Okay, fair enough.
Mockle rides up the other side of you. Says, what is your name?
William. Will.
William. Tala does not speak human.
Okay. He's going to nod at the... tip his hat a little bit at the one that he can speak to. And then speak to Mocha.
Cool. Yes. So, yeah, I was like, okay, so you're bringing up something that could be really sensitive. Okay, highs reacts well, you get information. Lows reacts badly. We're at a 10. So
didn't understand.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
What can I help you with, my friend?
I appreciate that this may be a bit of a sticky subject. I was just wondering if you could, if your tribe was involved in the troubles about X years ago.
Which ones?
The one specifically where a large number of Coyotl came together to fight the humans.
After the massacre at what you call
The staging?
No. There was another Mercyville,
Oh, yes. No, we don't talk about Mercyville.
and with good reason. You mean at your city? Your
Harlan, yes.
No, not so much. That was he rolled very well. This was the Garu and the Tokara and also the Raza. It was their territories that were taken in the first place, so they had the most to lose.
Sorry, do you say the Garu, the Tulkara, and...
The Raza.
Okay, so Raza are Light Sworn, Garu are revealed, Tulkara are unaffiliated?
Yeah, correct.
Could I request at some point maybe getting written on the map here, just like in the big space at the top where Light's Cradle is, just an unaffiliated Coyotl
Oh yeah, sure.
and list of tribes? Not right now.
Yeah, carry on. Anything else you would like to know?
Was it bad for your people?
War is always bad for all people.
He's also welcome to roll insight as well.
Are you constipated? We have healers.
No, it's fine. Fair enough.
There's been just a raft of cultural misunderstandings today.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely fine. No, I'm okay, thank you. Not constipated. I imagine that I've got something that would sort that out anyway.
I understand. Me too. Getting old, it sucks.
Are you quite old for a Coyotl?
I am 37.
Will nods politely, not really knowing if that's old for a Coyotl or not. Will specifically doesn't know.
Yeah, sure. He does have some of the trappings of age about him. You can tell he's not like a young man.
Mm-hmm.
Here you go. Thanks. There you go. There's your list.
And the group we're travelling with, they are... Which tribe, sorry?
Reba. You can roll a history check. Anyone can roll a history check if you want to know a little bit more about the Reba, should you so wish.
16.
That'll be 18 for me.
18, 16...
Augustine was just completely unable to get any deals with any of them.
Sorry, dirty 20.
Dirty 20 and a 16, cool. So the 16, you know a little of the Reba. They are one of the... you would obviously know that they are revealed Coyotl. They are friendly to humans. They are one of the more sort of nomadic tribes. They do... all of the Coyotl tribes have some kind of centralized city or holding, or even just like a holy site that they return to at one point of the year. Something slightly more permanent, but the Rayba certainly are much more nomadic than many others. I mean, for example, the Garu, actually have like a cave fortress that they live in, like a cave system that they inhabit that is inhabited year round. Whereas the kits that have their turtle city that moves on the back of this giant deep creature. On the 20, uh, Misty, you know that um, sorry, yeah, of the more through your academic studies of that there are no real academic papers published by Coyotl, but you have started to see them, in the with special thanks section of papers,
Okay.
where they may have offered magical guidance or counsel or that kind of thing. And the Reba, are particularly they are one of the more magical oriented and magically adept tribes, and tend to sort of favor the kind of illusion, enchantment, kind of the more intangible magics rather than the flying or the transmutation or all that kind of thing. Yeah. Yeah, the day is hot and weary and goes onwards. And you reach your stopping place for the night. You guys are sort of down. Where's me? There it is. No, that's a measuring tool. There we go. You guys are now sort of down there. Maybe a day to Fort Morgan. Are you guys planning to stop there? Are you planning to avoid it? What's the outlook?
I think we were planning on avoiding Fort Morgan because there are people after Will, and they know that he's been there.
Cool.
Multiple times, no less.
Yeah. As you get through to the next day, then you travel again with Mockle and the rest of the Rayba. They do have in those big sledges like wagons for trade and supplies and things that are needed. Like they've produced like a lot of like medical supplies, like bandages and ointments, not necessarily like healing potions, but the kind of bandages that commoners with rifles can afford. And they're going to be dropping them off. So at the end of the second day, they are probably going to be splitting off and saying goodbye. As you get to the second day, Lillian,
I was
Augustine,
going to ask.
yeah,
Uh,
you're beginning to feel queasy, like nauseous, just like that little low level. You know that kind of feeling you get where you haven't eaten so long, you feel a little unwell.
yeah.
Yeah, like the upset stomach, that kind of feeling. Yeah.
So Lillian knows she's sick. So the thing she would try is probably lesser restoration
Cool.
and see if that works or has any effect, because she has the spell, she can prepare it, and she would have prepared it that day. So it's like
Yeah,
sometime during the day she just kind of casts it on herself.
You draw the magic in, and you do feel it sort of abate the symptoms. Certainly, like the nausea, you feel better. You feel a bit more spray, a bit more energy. But over the next couple of hours, you feel the root of the thing. You've pruned the leaves, but the root remains.
Mm.
Yeah.
Okay.
Each dawn, knock off another hit point from your total.
That is going to be 8 days or so.
Yeah.
8 hit points from where we've
Similar
got.
to Lillian, Augustine would try to use moment tokens to slow down whatever is trying to eat away at him. So similar to how he uses it to heal himself.
Yeah. So that you gather some of this ephemeral causality from around you and try and sort of, instead of concentrating it into a wound, you kind of sort of try and let it suffuse your entire body and being. And I'd say you probably end up feeling worse at the end of that. Like, you haven't like progressed another day down the track, but that's like the way you feel like you'd be going. Is like, yeah, the sort of the metaphorical lead poisoning builds up in the body, like speeding the process of accumulation is gonna have no more effect than the healing magics which the phase fluid is so keen on devouring. Yeah.
So, as I've created my potion, the next thing that I'd like to do is the laser that I took from the. Can I begin to investigate how it stabilizes the matter?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is a good point to sort of transfer into sort of, I'm going to sort of call it like pseudo downtime. You guys are going to be traveling from here. If you avoid, hang on, is it click like that? Yeah. 90 miles is probably about 6 days in the desert. So I'm happy to call that a work week of downtime. If you guys have anything you would like to accomplish, that could be reasonably practical to do, while you are traveling, you are more than welcome to do that. For Misty, that may be, soldering random bits of shit together. If you guys have any other suggestions, you will be passing like little trading posts in small towns, so you will be able to pick up like supplies.
I've got that big stack of papers that I'm going to
You do,
work
yeah.
through.
Yeah, one of the players in the other game even started working on a custom cantrip so we could smoke underwater. If you have such ideas, you are welcome to throw them out.
I am also going to attempt to get Leviathan talking to me again.
Okay, I'm going to say roll a persuasion check. Just a flat persuasion check this time.
Just a flat persuasion.
Yeah.
That is a natural 9, so a total of 15.
Okay, on a 15, you sort of scraped a positive success. You start asking like the innocuous questions and like status reports and the threat assessments and stuff. And you get answers on those. There's no chat. I mean, not that there ever was, but there's no sort of personable conversation. Are you looking for anything particular in those papers?
I got a lot of information about the Watchmasters last time. If they're because if as we're passing various trading outposts and whatnot, we can get more up to date papers as well. In theory, I'm looking for any new information about what's happening in the Watchmasters, and anything that is personal to Will, or any references. Like, he's going to be searching through these papers for all of these things. I don't know whether or not he's going to get it, but he's also going to be searching through for any references to a pair of children, both capital C and lowercase c.
Very interesting. Okay. I'm going to say roll me investigation.
Oh, come on. The dice acted like it was weighted, but no, it was just on a corner.
Oh.
It did a very unnatural looking roll onto a 6 plus 3, a total of 9.
Okay. Yeah, you do manage to pick up a few of the newer papers, but they are like only a portion of like the missing issues, as it were. You don't seem to find anything. Certainly, there's no reference to a pair of children, for example. There's nothing more advanced about the Watchmaster's office than you currently know. Like, you got one of the really most recent copies that had only just made it to Fort Morgan, or rather just been printed in Fort Morgan, and the news had just reached there. When you found out about your former, inferior's vast promotion. Misty, I've had messages from you. I also had messages from someone else. Exciting. Oh, okay, that was from earlier.
Yeah, I originally put it in the general chat and then I moved it to Western Wilds.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to say roll me Roll me just, I think, straight int for the laser.
Yeah, sure thing. That is not a good roll. 11.
Okay. You think that yes, you probably could get this thing functional, but it is without the bounds of your abilities, without like a proper workshop space and
Yeah.
tools and energy sources. You're aware that originally its function was like a stabilization thing. It would
Yeah.
hold, fluid in place while it coalesced and hardened. So you think that if you were going to get anything out of it, if you were going to try and create something from it, it would have that aspect of sort of taxic movement, like anywhere in the sort of telekinesis, force field kind of abjuration, conjuration kind of area. That's the kind of magic that the system runs on. Bam, bam, bam. Yeah, cool. Lily and Augustine, any things that you've got on the priority list?
Do the trading posts that we passed have the capabilities of sending out mail?
Absolutely, yeah. There is a mailbag that the sheriffs will collect each time as you go past, but you're not quite sure when a sheriff would come through, and it's not scheduled to the day, more like to the week or possibly fortnight. But yeah, there is snail mail here for sure. Yeah.
I will send letters to the bank informing them about the loss of the client that I came across,
Yeah.
the potential leads that I got from the stolen mailbag,
Yep.
and then a few other things that I'll be sending to you.
I'm so very pleased. Fantastic.
I'm
And I
fine
get, and I guess some of it will be like explicit, and a lot of it will be. It's not quite thieves can't, but like a bank equivalent, like
legalese.
Sort of, like, financial legalese so dense that it
Yeah.
requires a bonus language proficiency. I get you.
Cool.
Yeah, cool.
Bankers can't.
Bankers can't. Well, it's called legitimate businessman can't for a reason.
Yeah.
Lillian.
I think the one thing Lillian wants to sort out is the fact that her armor is pitted and broken.
That's absolutely fair, yeah.
I know somebody else had broken armor as well, but I think it got fixed by wearing the model stuff.
I replaced mine with the
the healing protection stuff.
The Dorless gear.
yeah.
So what do I need to repair that, as it were? Is it a case of this isn't repairable, or is it a case of
I would say it is for sure repairable.
Okay.
What you would need is, do you have a Smith's tools proficiency or anything?
Lily does not. No,
Okay.
she does not.
It would either be getting a character who has the Smith's tools proficiency, or finding like a forge or an armorer somewhere along the way. Roll me your choice of like perception or persuasion as you go along.
Oh, I think they're both pretty close. I don't know. Persuasion's actually higher.
Can I give advantage on that by assisting?
I think it will just be a flat one for this because you're buried up your neck in newspaper.
Fair enough.
16 plus 5, 21.
Oh, for sure. There, yeah. So it's actually shortly after you split off from Mockle's group, they sort of wave you off quite cheerily. It's like, good luck, I hope you don't die. And you head off sort of southwards. You're going sort of between down like this sort of vector down this way. So you hit a town sort of around here. I say a town, it's maybe one or two businesses and a couple of houses. It's basically built around a well.
Joe, do you want to unpause the game so we can move the token?
Certainly will.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we're about there, you said?
About there, yeah. Yeah, this is it's built around just basically a single well, and is my brain is not working tonight. But one of the things is like a tiny forge. It's probably anywhere else in the world, it would be for horseshoes. But beetles and ants don't take shoes. They walk absolutely fine on the sand.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
the farrier's forge has to find other work.
Yeah.
If you are sort of pitching up here for the night, which you're very welcome to as sort of
Mhm.
as this downtime goes through, I would say so. You took up how many negatives did you take to just the one? Cool. What type of armor are you wearing?
Scale mail.
Scale mail. Oh, that's useless. It doesn't show me the price.
50 GP.
Thank you. I would say you could probably get that fixed up for about 10 gold. Like you can, that would be like materials, labor, and a little bit of a premium, so you can hand it over 4 o'clock in the afternoon, pick it up at 9 o'clock the next morning.
I need to do that then.
Not unreasonable. It's not an unreasonable amount of work to get done in that time. Yeah. Cool.
We can get a tool proficiency, can't we? For
You
what
can.
we've got at the moment. Might be worth getting some Smith's tools then. If Joe is going to make us repair our bloody armor,
Well, no, in this one instance, he's going to make us repair our bloody armor.
It's one of the few creatures that deals permanent armor reductions.
The only thing I don't worry
about rust monsters, basically.
Yeah, rust monsters are the other thing I don't worry about, but really,
oh god, oh I really hope I don't.
but that's
encounter a
more
rust
like
monster.
bam, gone. It's not a like you lose slowly one, you lose everything all at once.
Yeah. Oh,
That's not a
God,
repairable
yeah,
job.
A rust monster, but instead of like rusting toxin, it just emits electrical signals that shut down nanites.
Oh no!
What's the name of those? The Zorbos are worse though. They just
Zorbos
eat
are
magic
great.
items.
I loved all those. Oh,
Somebody went, how can we make drop bears worse?
yeah.
I know.
I desperately want to play a Zorbo as a sidekick class. I think that would be just the best time. A Zorbo in tiny iron shoes, so its AC is always 17.
Oh god.
I've got a question for the group. We are going to be skirting near Tombstone. Did we want to stop off in there at all, or do we want to head straight to Novum?
Lily coughs up some blood.
I think by the time, normally yes, but by the time we get there, we're already like, this is a much more.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
I was.
serious.
The reason I was thinking Tombstone was because we could figure out maybe more leads to get to Novum, but we might have enough leads already, so I didn't know.
We have a pretty good idea of where Novum is, like very specifically.
Okay.
Whereas with
Doris.
Doralus, we had like kind of like a general area. With Novum, it was like it's here.
Oh yeah, that's right. We've got an actual ping on a map, haven't we? Which I have transcribed onto my digital map. Wom. All right. Yeah. In that case, yeah. Let's head straight to Novum then.
So how much HP are we down by at this
I'm
point?
going to say you're down a total of 7, including the one from the first night by the time you arrive.
Okay.
All right. So are we just going to skip all the way there then?
Yeah, you're certainly welcome to. As you get through, I can say as you're passing by Tombstone, when you're up sort of like about here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, you get all the way to you get all the way down to there is a human settlement here called Slumbering Hollow. And as you're getting across sort of this line, sort of about there, there is like a ridge of hills that goes sort of down the like a very slow sloping kind of foothills that never really develop into mountains. I mean, there are mountains sort of throughout this continent, but these ones never sort of approach above that sort of gentle roll up and down. But they are just networked with like gullies and washes and gulches that sort of like where the rain shadow hits the top when the wind blows one way or other. It rains at the top and it's just washed out channels through the sand and rock. Even over maybe the 100 or so years that Volan has been above the waves, it's created this sort of very sort of spine-like alternation of kind of like rib and then a gully and then another rib coming down the this bit of the countryside. You're also noticing that it is getting hotter as you go further south, which is unsurprising. It is into the sort of the true as you're coming past Tombstone, sort of up this area. Um, that is the true sort of dust bowl in between everything. It's far away from the river coming out of the garden, and it's the like some of the furthest away, other than near the Garus, cave city over here. This is some of the biggest distance away from freshwater sources you're going to get. Yeah. What are you guys doing when you get down here?
Well, we know roughly where we are, where we need to go, right?
You have a you have a decent idea, yeah. It's going to be a case of crossing over this big sort of spiny mountain. It might be a little challenging with the wagon, because it is like a lot of weight for the beetle to pull. And the beetle's good across flat ground, but the ups and downs are a bit runaway trainy. There is a pass you can go through the like a break in this sort of spiny foothill.
Might make sense to go for the pass and allow the people who are getting sicker to ride in the wagon rather than having to hike over the hills.
The last time you went through a pass, we got, attacked by bird women.
And birdmen.
There were some birdmen, but mostly I remember the women and their singing.
So how visibly sick is...
At this point, you can see that August and Lillian have got like a little like dark circles under the eyes. They are having sort of infrequent nosebleeds as well, and like the nail beds are sort of getting pitted, and yeah, they're looking unwell.
Is it also a function of how much HP in total, like as a percentage, how bad we are? Because Lily will look very bad. She's lost almost half her hit points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but
Okay.
Lily does not look good.
Yeah, I appreciate we've come this far, but I've suddenly realised that the answer to our problems may well be back in the site that we originally came from. Anyway, let's
Interesting.
see if...
What do you mean, Doralus?
Well, if they were handling that material, it's possible that they would have had the facilities to protect against an accidental leak.
Everything in the site was removed.
Yeah, we explored it as much as we could.
Oh, yeah, that's a very good point.
We asked where medical attention could be sought, and that is where we're headed.
Mm-hmm.
I insist we keep moving.
I do as well. I guess
You two stay in the cart.
Yeah.
Yes. So have we arrived at...
So as you sweep through this pass, there's no marauding harpies this time. It is just a quite gentle, and then it gets quite steep as the beetle sort of straining, and then you do dip over the hill, and suddenly you've got this vast flat plain ahead of you, which basically sweeps all the way down to the sea about 2 days away. You can actually see, like on the very, very horizon, just the briefest sparkle and the cloud line over the shoreline where it tends to gather. And I'm going to activate this.
Your trap card? Okay.
I was legitimately expecting an ambush.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, you can see these sort of big pillars of rock, and you can see every time you each sort of between these sort of vertebral spines of the hill, it does recess quite like a sort of a canyon, and there are little switchbacks running between them, but it is I feel like I'm bad at describing. It is sort of a like this kind of vibe of like that's the even that's bad at describing it. Yeah. Canyons. Lots of canyons is what I'm saying.
And a natural labyrinth or something like that, like
that kind of thing, yeah.
Okay.
And you can see off in the distance a couple of things. Off to your southwest, you can see a small town. It is surrounded by like a palisade wall. Um, Much like Fort Morgan, it's kind of just junk has been put together to form this sort of natural, well, unnatural, but hodgepodge and not well crafted at all wall around the side. Like old wagons, bits of siding, even bits of like ship that have, been wrecked previously before Bowden Rose, and the timbers have been recovered. And directly ahead of you, as the wheels sort of squeak as you come down of the wagon, off of the hill and down onto the flat, maybe about a quarter mile, half a mile ahead and off to the east. No, the west, straight to the west, more towards the canyon line. You can see a pole with a skull on it.
That's a very specific. Is it like human skull or like?
Yeah, that was going to be my
From
question.
this distance, you absolutely can't tell. You can see that familiar bleached white
Yeah.
of
Right.
bone, but you'd have to get much closer.
Does a skull on a stick mean anything specific out here?
History check.
No, never mind. Natural 2.
24.
Total of 3.
Unnatural 20.
11.
On the 11, you're not entirely sure. The unnatural 20 and is it 24?
Mm-hmm.
There is no specific significance to simply a skull on a stick. It's not like this means this thing. It is of note. It is unusual. It probably didn't naturally occur.
And how far from the settlement is the?
I would say there is a good mile and a half, maybe even 2 miles, between this stick and the settlement. Actually, could I get perception checks from everyone as well?
I was going to say, is there any traffic around the settlement coming away from the settlement?
Natural.
Oh, baby. You can, in terms of traffic, that's a really good ask, actually, because you're on beaten road now. This is actual track. Like, this is traveled enough that, it's been packed down. And it looks like the road gives this thing a real wide berth. And on that natural 20 as well, you can actually pick out a couple more of these in the distance.
Protecting, marking the same valley or different valleys, or just nowhere near the valley.
Tracing a perimeter.
Yeah, that's more the vibe you get. It's a perimeter, but the road avoids all of them. And in fact, they're not like in a perfect circle. They're sort of spaced out, in certainly a perimeter, but not a not like a fine curve or like a sine wave. There's no order to the pattern, but it is an order. There's no orthodoxy to the pattern, but
This is the
order.
equivalent of a danger, keep out sign. Mines be here kind of thing, isn't it?
That is one possible inference one could take, yeah.
And does the map want us to go into that zone?
You're in the map ping.
Oh,
now.
okay.
That's somewhere in this area.
So,
As in this whole area, or like if we go down into the valley, it's going to be moving away from it again.
So the valleys are sort of to your north, and there's these many different canyon switchbacks. That's sort of the. Hang on, I'll draw it on. So this is the. Where is my pen? This is the pass you just came through. The valleys are coming in sort of almost like that, where the rains have sort of washed them in. The town is sort of down here, and the road, I'll do it in a slightly different colour. How do I change colour? I can't, never mind. The road sort of goes around that way, like that.
Right.
And you're looking at...
Yeah, that almost looks like Quetzalcoatl from Final Fantasy VIII.
Because they're kind of, yes.
I am afraid I'm going to have to take your word for that one.
Yeah, so, okay.
And finally, where's the ping in relation to this?
The ping is sort of... No, I'm not drawing anymore. There we go. The ping, for want of a better word, is like this area. Maybe
Somewhere
even
was-
like more like...
Steve.
No, that's not working. There we go.
Yeah,
So-
You get what I mean.
yeah, that answers what I wanted to know. That's all.
So, I think
I mean, if it was a refugee camp, it may well have been huge.
It might
I
be
mean-
this entire area, but
Can I
subterranean.
We could
Digging?
go to the town. Like,
Yeah,
it's
hello?
not going to take much time, and if the road avoids it, they're going to know at least something about what's up.
That's
yes,
a
the
good
locals
point, yeah.
know,
Should we-
locals
should
know
we visit?
something, deities.
Yeah, we'll visit the town. Might be able to get some more digging supplies or something.
Yeah.
I know
guess
what your code for dynamite is.
I guess given that we're going straight past them, we'll get a closer look at least some of these.
Mm.
You certainly can do, yeah.
Yes.
The skulls, roll me medicine or nature would be the appropriate.
Uh, 22
18 for medicine.
and 22 for medicine as well.
Yeah,
6 for
easily
nature.
good. Some of those easily good enough to clock this. I mean, even on the 6, definitely not a human skull. But it is on the 22. These are Coyotl skulls. But they're old. On the 22, especially, they are decades old. You know, these have been bleaching in the sun for longer than Augustine has been alive, or about the same amount of time at least. Certainly longer than Misty has.
So,
Um,
okay. Have these been here since before the continent resurfaced, kind of thing, or is it not that long?
it's not that long. No.
Okay.
But since before humans made their mark.
On the 22, you could date it. You could bound-wise date it somewhere before humans arrived and after the continent rose.
Okay.
There is also writing
Oh.
on the pole. It is like scratched in runes, like carved in runes with some kind of like chisel or like awl, like wood burned, so that whatever was doing it was hot. And they are runes that go straight down the length of the pole. Who speaks? Is it Misty that speaks Coatl? Yeah. It is not like an exact translation. Think like reading Middle English kind of thing.
Okay.
I've become intimately familiar with fucking Shakespeare in the last few weeks, and it is baffling. But yeah,
You bite your thumb at me, sir.
I bite my thumb, sir, but not at thee, sir. Anyway, it says something like dead place or death place.
So it's either a graveyard or something else that'll make us sick.
I mean, out of character, we all know where we've got to go, right?
In character, I want to find out. But we should stop at the. What was
Go
the
to the town.
What
Town
was
is
it
called
called?
Slumbering Hills.
Clumbering Hills.
Slumbering Hills.
Slumbering Hills.
At least
Sorry.
they might know something about what's behind that. Somebody from town will have probably wandered in there at one point or another.
Yeah, you head down towards Slumbering Hills. There's no gate here. There's no massive block of stone blocking off the entrance. It is a walk-in, but there is those familiar white picket stakes that and we've made the Walking Dead joke so many times that when I read that, my brain read it as just could mean garbage anything. Yeah, you head in Slumbering Hills. There's no gate. There is those white picket stakes that demark a measure of civilization. And yeah, there's a few houses. There's a post office. There's a saloon. In Pride of Place, in the middle of the town square, just in front of the. You can't call it a fountain. It's a well that has some ornamentation. Is a Firebird Costa. Um, you're down in the south and in human
For a
territories.
second, I thought the Firebirds had opened up a chain of coffee shops.
Coster, I am afraid.
Like the Lion Shield Costa, but further.
Indeed, yes, absolutely. From Fandom, yeah. Yeah, there is a Firebird shop, a trading post, a store. There's like a little like a blacksmith's and a hooper. There's maybe a couple of hundred people here. They seem friendlier than you're used to. People are sort of like waving you in and saying, "Hey, welcome to Slumbering Hills, friend," etc., etc. Where are you guys headed, if anywhere?
Let's see. The Costa might know something.
Yeah,
The tavern is the traditional place as well.
They do. That's true.
Is there any signs of, like, a martel or precursor tech?
Roll me investigation, please.
That'd be like moth to a flame.
Well, if Fort Morgan had some, it's not unreasonable that every city might incorporate whatever they've scavenged. Was it investigation? That is a dirty 20.
Dirty 20. You see no evidence at all of precursor technology. There are like gas lamps around here, like or at least the equivalent kind of like oil lamps kind of thing. There's not like piped gas, but it's certainly lit. This place is lit at night, but it's by flame rather than magic.
Yeah. Okay.
You do clock that there is a small church here, and the doorway catches your eye because it's a little macabre and grotesque. The doorway into the mortar around the stone doorway have been set many Kuyotl skulls, and they form a sort of arch around. These are notably more recent than the ones on the poles outside.
Is that a mark of respect or disrespect, I wonder?
They're a bit further away from the front lines here, aren't they?
Yeah.
What sort of territory are we in?
I think we're in human territory, right?
Yeah, human territory.
Yeah.
Technically Firebird territory.
Yeah.
What
And
god is church representing?
This is a Jadenist church, the Traveled God. The Iron Wheel, etc.
Is the church open to the public, or is
Yeah,
it?
for sure.
I might go and
Yeah.
check out the tavern.
Yes, the tavern dears. I think if anyone's going to have any information, that it's going to be them or the Costa.
Okay, I'm gonna check out the church and then I'll join you.
Cool. So we'll divert over to the church briefly. Misty, are you heading straight in?
Yeah, I don't see why not.
Cool. Yeah, you look inside. You can see it's very neat and like cleanly swept. And actually, as you go in, you can see that there are like people taking worship and doing various things. And there's also like off in one side, there's a sort of partitioned room where it sounds like a children's class is being taught. Very much like the the teacher writes a sentence on the blackboard and then counts along with the ruler to teach group reading, as it were.
Yeah.
There's no sign of a priest in here, but it looks like the place is open to the public to walk in.
Apart from the skulls on the outside, are there any other signs of Coyotl, like alive or dead?
Perception, if you would.
Yes. Oh, that is nowhere near as good. I think we're looking at a 9, but I'll just double check. Yeah, that's a 9.
I mean, the worst you can get is no information, be it correct or incorrect. You have not seen any Coatl living or dead, other than the skulls around the door.
Interesting. Okay. I don't. Given that there's nothing else that catches my eye, I've sated my curiosity, and I will go to join the others in the pub.
Yeah, you begin to walk over. The other three, you have arrived at the tavern there already. It's the Rose and Thorns is the name of the tavern.
Ooh, tie the ant to a hitching post.
Absolutely, yeah. There is there's like a wagon station effectively where you can like hobble the beetle and the ants, sorry, and and you head in. There is it's what time is it? I'll offer to you guys what time is it.
Maybe if we're trying to go into the tavern, maybe it's like late-ish afternoon, just before like people are out of work, they're coming home, they're coming here to kind of drink. So
yeah, I would say it's maybe sort of 5-6 o'clock in the evening.
Okay.
So yeah, there's a few people. There's workers, and there are mines near here as well in that sort of spined hill. Sees a lot of sort of prospectors and pickaxes getting left at the door in a barrel, like you would see umbrellas in Harlan. There's a big like handlebar mustached like red Ulsterian heritage kind of guy there. So, gentlemen, ladies, what can I get for you?
dearie, I could use.
You quite all right there, ma'am? You look unwell.
I'm not particularly well, but I'm old as well, so it's kind of a bit of one and bit another.
He takes out basically like a cup of water and says, "On the house," and passes it over.
Thank you, dearie. That's very kind of you. Drinks the water. I'm actually looking for a bit of information. We noticed on our way in that there is a bunch of skulls on posts, and
You didn't disturb them.
no, dearie, we didn't. Why?
It's a bad place. Yeah, those dogs, they curse the place, we reckon.
What happens there? Cursed how?
There's ghosts there. They appear sometimes. When the sun sets or rises, you see the ghosts tilling the fields as if they have unfinished business.
Ghosts and
Souls bound to this world.
they're wandering souls, dearie. I have a means of putting them back where they belong. Kind of like pulls out the religious symbol, the symbol of the,
Yeah. The old lady.
The old lady, yeah, the symbol of the old lady, because she doesn't have a name beyond the old lady.
Oh, she has a name.
Yeah, she has a name, but not one Lily could.
There's not a
invoke.
common name.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not one she can invoke.
You'd be taking your life in your hands to use it, put it that way. Yeah.
Maybe that's what people hear when she uses her. They hear the old lady's name and they're like, "Why do I know that now? That seems bad."
Oh, that was a mistake to hear.
But I have a means of putting them back if it's just ghosts and spirits. Is that all it is out there? And that's why you avoid the area.
They're restless. We don't mean to disturb those who've gone before.
You don't have the means of putting them back. That's perfectly acceptable. You're not your business. It's like telling the miners here to go lay bricks. They might know how to do it, but they do a damn shit job of it. Leave it to the professionals.
Well, our preacher man got killed by the dogs a couple years back, so we don't have had no means of laying the dead to rest. You can't.
Is that what he used to do?
It's what preachers do.
He's not wrong, dearie. It's what we kind of trying to do. Few are as specialist as I am, though, to be fair.
Well, anyway, gentlemen, what can I get for you? Can I alcohol, food, beverages, entertainment?
What is the local drink of choice?
Looks to sort of a couple of different varieties of cactus beer and a few sort of regular stouts and ales in sort of slightly smaller casks as well. There is, there's a couple to choose from.
Yeah, could I get a equivalent of like cactus whiskey or something?
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I mean, you can probably just get whiskey. I mean,
Oh yeah.
So cactus has a number of it bears a number of fruits. One of them is cactus beer, and one of them is cactus wine. Cactus beer is like basically 4% aloe vera solution, and cactus wine is much more tequila. You read sunburn and rubbed aloe vera on it. It's lovely.
I'm just gonna get a whiskey.
If y'all are interested, by the way, there's going to be some entertainment at dawn. We're having a hanging.
Oh, really? A hanging of whom?
One of them black robe dogs, Spy, come over in the recent things in the battlefront. He's being held in town jail until tomorrow. But if you're interested, might be a laugh.
Are we allowed to go and poke fun at him?
Oh, he sort of motions outside, and you can see there is sort of a barrel which is being filled with rotten fruit, and another that's being filled with rocks.
For the entertainment festivities, I see. All right. The jail is in which part of town? Can't miss it, I assume.
Next to the town hall.
Next to the town
it sort of points out there's like a clock-towered building, which is the town hall.
Well, I think I might go see Nina to him in a bit.
Very good. Yeah. Can I get perception checks? Misty, I think you arrive about now. Can I also get perception checks from everyone in the bar?
19.
Nice.
15.
20. Not natural.
We're 4 for 4. Excellent. You all clock about this moment. As Misty walks in, this is not related to the previous conversation, but is somewhat germane. There is like an old battered army insignia jacket that is sort of put in quite a pride of place above the bar in like a little glass display case with some dark wood edging, and it is most definitely a Firebird sergeant's jacket.
Is that your jacket hanging over the bar right there?
Yes, ma'am, it was. 25 years and proud.
Oh. How long ago did you stop being a member of the...
I was about 8 years back. I settled to my pension, cashed out early, bought this place, have not looked back for a second.
Just didn't like being in the firebrands anymore, or just got aged out of it like most of us?
Well, I wouldn't say I'm as fast as I used to be, ma'am, but no, I thought it was just my time.
A good soldier knows when to put down the sword too, I suppose.
I couldn't say it better myself, ma'am.
We have a prisoner to mock, so perhaps we'll swing in by later for a bit of food.
Fantastic.
Why are we mocking him?
Area outside.
Okay.
To be young and foolish again. Hobble, hobble, hobble.
Yeah, I think
as we're walking out.
Stance, but that remark from Will kind of really settles the matter for him in a way that you find a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, I can feel the racism.
Oh yeah. Like Will is not keen on the coyotal in general, but this place is giving him a bad vibe. And honestly, out of character, Will is already thinking jailbreak.
I think as we're walking away, Lillian will also cast aid on herself, Augustine, and Misty probably, which will give us 5 maximum hit points. It's not healing; it ups our max by
No,
5.
I'll yeah, absolutely allow it. Yeah, use for second level spell slot for sure. Yeah, you gain a +5 to your max HP.
How long for?
8 hours.
Do you need to keep concentration on that?
Nope.
Oh,
So does that kick in? Like, does our current health also raise by
Yep.
8 points?
5.
5 points. Sorry, yes.
Yep. Your current hit points increase by 5, and your maximum 5 by 5.
Ooh.
Do you get more targets for?
For
Oh, you
higher
get
levels.
increased
For
hit
higher
points.
levels, you get
Higher.
more hit points. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I could cast it at 3rd level, I would.
Yeah. For real. Cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
you head out the bar. The yeah, so you're getting towards maybe sort of like 6:20, 6:30 at this point. The sun is beginning to dip below the western mountains, but is not like setting yet.
like as she's casting the spell as well, she's like, I think we might be there's a strong possibility we're either going to get into a fight soon or something horrible is going to happen. So let's hope this helps a bit. She casts it, and then I guess we head to the jail.
oh shit! I need to actually long rest. I just saw I had full hit points and thought, oh, it's fine. I've already hit it. Then I saw I've got no spell slots, so.
Who are you intending to fight, milady?
Well, I'm thinking that I want to see. I have a bad feeling about this Quattro. I don't. They said he's a spy, a black-robed one, and I remember what the other one said. That they sometimes get a bit confused about who and what they're fighting, and I can't see an innocent person just be hung for no reason. I want to find out the truth.
That's fair.
Yeah, in that case, you are more than welcome to head over to City Hall. You can see there's a little sort of what would be a sheriff station, but there is no sheriff currently in residence. It is just the deputy who is like the single lawman of the town. Yeah, just sort of sitting sort of hat over the face, feet up on the table as the door opens, and it's not as a little shopkeeper bell, but it does sort of the glass clatters in the pane as you open the door, and it's sort of howdy.
Hello.
Howdy. We're here to poke fun at the prisoner.
Hell, all right. You're weird folks, but all right. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, you can see that like a whole section of the room is like barred off. Like it's like brick building with a two tiny windows, and then a whole like partition wall is just iron bars.
Is it just this deputy in here?
Yeah. And he's like, you folks are keen. Most people wait for the actual event, but hey, hell, I ain't gonna stop you.
Well, I mean, we just couldn't wait. We've been on the road a while without much entertainment.
I like your style, stranger.
Yeah. So why don't you just go back to sleep for about 8 hours?
Casting suggestion?
That's casting suggestion.
Cool. I'm gonna roll a
Wisdom save.
save. I've got
He
dice
fails. Does he know?
I might just do that. And you're not sure if the spell. You're concentrating, so you do know if the spell has taken effect. Yeah, like he is not biologically capable of immediately falling asleep, but he certainly takes your suggestion to just leave you guys to it and just puts his hat back down over his face, and seems unconcerned with your presence here.
I should have just told him not to listen to us and try to go to sleep. Too late now.
Really? Right.
You can also see that through the bars there is a black-robed sort of Timberwolf-looking coyotl who is you can see both his hands are like bound together, and the fingers are also all bound to each other. Um, Anybody who has casting levels here, and possibly the others as well on like an investigation check, but you would recognize this is something that would be done to prevent a spellcaster from spellcasting.
Yep.
Is there like a bundle of? Cause I can't imagine they've left his stuff in there with him. So is there somewhere else in the room his possessions?
There is, yeah. You can see like a couple of like basically there's a like a bundle in a locker. It is of no consequence for you to unlock without a skill check. Like it's barely a latch on there. Um, and use pop. Yeah, there's like a couple of like curved short swords that have been like smoke blackened. So put over like a very smoky fire so that they won't glint in light. And you can also see there's like a glove, and it has like a flat crystal held between bindings in the palm. You'd probably recognize that as an arcane focus.
I'd like to walk up to the cage. Hello, who are you?
Misty, are you along here as well?
Yeah. As I
The repeats in Coyotl. Hello, how are you? Or who are you?
Who are
Sorry.
you? Yes.
And you see his eyes like narrow with recognition, but doesn't speak.
So the skull's translating for
Him.
Okay. Can you get a skull do that for anyone, dear?
Yeah, it has done it before.
Yeah. Just speak into it.
Ideally, I'm just
The skull is repeating all of this as well. It's
Yeah.
not a on or off function.
So he goes, I'm hoping, dearie, which tribe are you from? Alright, dearie.
How long is he? Did the sheriff say? Not the barkeep say when he got arrested.
No one has yet said how long he has been here.
Does he look quite weakened? Or...
No.
So presumably not long ago.
What were you doing here that led to you being captured by this rabble?
Are its feet bound?
He is chained to the bench he is sitting on by one ankle.
Okay.
Can I get anyone who has a passive perception of like 12 can see that there has just been like a side of like meat thrown in here, just like onto the floor, but it's untouched.
Reading the vibe, can I then lean right up to the cage? And because the skull tends to match volume, if I recall correctly.
It can certainly imply some intonation, yeah.
So yeah, okay, I'll say quietly, but I suppose if it's translating, then it won't matter because I doubt the others will understand. I'll say quietly, do you want to leave this place? And upon saying that, can I kind of flash a stick of dynamite?
Anyone who wants to can roll insight.
Middle of the road.
10.
10, 12.
18.
18.
Yeah.
You've seen a lot of soldiers and you've seen a lot of zealots.
Mm.
And this is both. Interest was piqued by the offer of especially dynamite.
Yeah.
But there is also a grand reluctance to accept anything from any of you.
You are who we are who you are who you appear to be. And then the skull's obviously translating. From the Light Sworn, yes. I know you don't have to answer me at this point. I can see it in your face. You read like I used to long, long ago. They're going to kill you tomorrow. probably humiliating you along the way. It's your choice. You can... If I ever run into any of your kin, though, I'd like to know what we can tell them.
If you were to ever meet any of my kin, he says in Coatl, they will rend the flesh from your bones and take your bones for servants. He looks at Misty and, like, holds his bound hands up and gestures for the dynamite.
Will just, pull Misty back slightly.
This is not a good one to give to. Unfortunately, the zealotry has gotten a bit over him. I wish you luck in the next life, dearie, when the old woman comes to claim you.
My flesh will return to the winds. Cannot say the same for your people.
You don't want to accept help, but how about a trade? Okay.
You can roll insight on that specifically, actually.
Yeah, go for it. Ooh, that is a dirty 20.
Something about the word trade specifically sets it is more more distasteful to he doesn't want to accept it any more than he would accept help, but it is more distasteful than just pure help. Certainly, you know that the revealed Coatl have very good trade relationships. That's one of the things that gets sort of espoused by the higher ups of the revealed is like, well, look at all the things you can learn from each other and swap, and yeah.
I guess to him, trading implies that we are equals.
There you go.
Okay.
You may not respect us. You respect your ancestors. And then I repeat the message that is on the spikes with the ancient Coatl heads on it. We are about to pay them a visit.
My ancestors. The ancestors of traitor whelps. Heretics. Your people, you come to our land. Your leaders are bloodsuckers and leeches, living off the blood of those beneath them. And you cattle are too stupid to know. You're being taken for fools, working your lives away for the betterment of others who you have decried as your betters. And worse, you tell my kind the same. Your lies worm their way into their minds and corrupt them, turn them away from the teachings of the light. I want no help from you.
I think you've got us mistaken, dearie. I don't work for anyone but myself. The only thing I care about is finding me two grandchildren out here in this desert.
Then you are a fool, too blind to see.
So I no longer feel like we should release this gentleman. However, it would leave a bit of a bitter taste in my mouth to leave him to be humiliated in a way that I don't think any creature really deserves to.
I agree with that sentiment. The
I
one
am
thing I
out
want
of magic.
Sorry, what's that?
I am out of magic. I took as many of you invaders as I could with me. But if you're not going to be around and you have no love for the people of this town, you leave me that bomb and you take a few more.
no love for them, dear, but I'm not about to let you blow them up. What I might offer you is a painless death.
Not just painless, but a death lacking in humiliation.
Roll persuasion, and I'm gonna say it's disadvantage.
Both of us, or just
One. Yeah, yeah.
both of us?
So what one person? Uh, yeah. So you could both roll at disadvantage, or one person can roll flat with a slightly higher DC. Your choice.
I have a +5.
I have a +6.
Ooh. I think having Will roll flat, even with the higher DC, might be better.
Go for it.
So roll flat, higher DC, single dice that has been rolling shit all day.
I do not have guidance to help you out either.
That's fine. I don't need guidance. I have a natural 9. A total of 15. I have not rolled above a 9 on this dice all day.
Now he tells us.
The coyotl steps back and resumes the same draped, laconic stance as he had before on the bench that he's chained to.
Very well. He does not wish to die with dignity. We shall... I think we should just leave him to it then.
The only thing I'll say to him then, yes, I agree, dearie. And then I will say, I promise when our business is done in the place beyond your ancestors, I'll come back and put your body where it belongs. Prevent you from coming back as something horrible.
No, you won't.
Tis for my promise to make to my God. No other, dear. Promise was not to you. And then she'll turn and leave.
He has a very... The first time you've seen him smile is that the like that very teeth-bearing lupine smile comes over one side of his face. Okay.
I will take his arcane focus with us.
I was about to say the same thing.
Yeah, go for it.
Lovely. Cool.
I am tempted to eat his swords.
Eat
Go for it.
his sword.
Yeah,
Sorry,
I was tempted to eat his swords.
As nanite fuel, as it were.
Yeah.
Cool. It might take a little time to get through a whole sword, but certainly there are atoms and elements here that Leviathan can make use of over a sort of short rest or so.
Cool.
Cool. Yeah, you I think the deputy probably is dozing by this point, and yeah, that conversation took a little while. The sun is just beginning to dip below the horizon at this point.
They did say that at sunset the figures appeared.
Could I get a perception check from everybody?
No.
You can.
8. This
20.
dice has rolled really well in the past.
Lillian, you can see off to the north, covering maybe 5 or 6 of those canyons, this pale grey-green mist begin to rise out of the ground inside that barrier. And what do you got? Was it 20 on the perception?
Mm-hmm.
What it looks like is, as the mist grows further and gets thicker, you can begin to see shapes form within it. You are slightly too far away to see the individual details, but especially for you, the vibe you get is one that you have experienced many times before, and it is the charnel aftermath of battle. Torn bodies, wrecked machinery, dying animals, covering an area of this terrain.
Because it's actual undead rather than just holograms.
That was my...
Yeah.
I have a bad feeling, dearie, that this is the people of that refugee camp think they got found by something, but sometimes a spirit can be coaxed into communicating, so we might be able to learn something. I'm feeling pretty spry right now, but it's only going to last another 7 hours or so.
I think it would be a good idea to go and look at it now.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Cool.
So we leave town.
As the sun dips down and the cold wind begins to blow as dusk and then twilight and then night comes to the desert, you set off the 2-mile walk over to the boundary posts. And the mist rolls around and there is a very unsettling chill to it. And you can see, broken bodies and strange machines that are composed of the mist. And as you move your hand through them, swipe, they dissipate into wisps.
Wait,
I'm going to conjure a sword.
if I use Eyes of the Grave, does this whole area just like light up like a Christmas tree?
No.
There's no undead here, dear. This is just the remnants of a long forgotten battlefield, as far as I can see.
As the sun dips below and you feel the shadow, you can actually see it moving like a wave across the spine of the hill. Where it sits on that perfect east-west, you see the dusk roll across the land, this perfectly flat uniform land, and the wisps dissipate.
Could I just cast on off to try and turn off this apparition? Just in case there is a technological emitter nearby.
Roll me
creating
an
these.
Arcana check.
8, never mind.
You reach out and try to energize whatever circuits are around to be energized. You can't find anything specific to reach out to.
So, sorry, just to get some clarity. So they weren't visible during the daylight hours, and at night they're not visible. It's as the sun is setting.
Yeah.
And presumably also when it's rising.
Yeah.
Yes. So perhaps there's something that's acting like a lens. So in the same way that the water's been channeled down and carved out these grooves, perhaps the sunlight is being funneled in a particular way that either illuminates or energizes. Can I cast detect magic?
Yes.
I'll ritual cast it because I don't think we're in immediate hurry.
They can take 10 minutes.
Yeah, you can see that from the area, certainly where these apparitions appear, just inside that boundary that has been set up. It's maybe another mile to the backs of the canyons and like the midpoint of the hills. So, yeah. Could I get a perception check from everybody, please?
7.
Worse than that.
8.
Augustine?
18.
18. Are you familiar with what a cairn is?
Is that a little stack of stones?
It's a little stack of stones. You see what appears to be, like organized stacks of stones. Not organized, no, they are dispersed but grouped, if that makes sense. In a couple of the canyons, basically.
Clustered.
Clustered is a good word, yeah.
Start heading that direction. Pointing them out.
Cool. You continue walking through. No more of the apparitions appear, but that chill remains in the air.
I've probably already asked Leviathan if it has any information on Novum. I'm assuming no.
You get, Low Ivan will say, if this was a refugee camp, it was created after my isolation. My core matrix was installed some years before the height of the war.
Okay, thank you.
As you continue walking, Misty, your detect magic goes off. This area is fully suffused with magic, completely just saturated with it.
Any particular type, or is it just
Illusion and necromancy.
Oh, not again.
illusion? If you were going to have a refugee camp, you would want to hide it and you would want to heal people or specifically revive them, which would be necromancy.
Mhm.
So is it all around or is it coming from a particular area?
It seems to be stronger towards the way you're heading, but not in a sort of linear fashion. You're moving towards a hotter zone rather than a colder zone.
Are we close to any of the cairns?
You can be.
Are they emitters of some kind?
No, there is no extra magical concentration near those. However, could I get an investigate check from anyone who is perception check rather from anyone who is actually going in and checking out the cairns directly?
Yeah.
16 for me.
23.
23.
I'm just keeping an eye out instead.
So in that case, what was your perception check for the surroundings?
I finally rolled above a 10. Sorry, above a 9. That is a grand total of 14.
Cool. You don't clock anything particular. There's a lot of howling. You can hear maybe desert animals off, like scuffling, but no unusual sounds. Your foot, Lillian, strikes something just underneath the surface of the sand.
Which will use my foot to push the sand away to see what it is.
It is some kind of material. Maybe it doesn't feel natural. Feels synthetic and manufactured.
So, yeah.
It's some kind of plastic, but it's long decayed and turned to threads and the ravages of abrasion from sand and at the bottom of the sea and the chill and the continuous cycle of baking and freezing in the day-night cycle of the desert. But it appears to lie under the cairn.
I think we're in the right area. So can I just kind of like try and pull the little bit of material out just to see what it is?
You try your best to pull. You can pull gently or hard as you like. I don't know when Lillian would stop trying to pull, but it appears that this material is fully underneath this whole can.
Is it so large? So hypothetically, could it be like a
roof?
A precursor parachute, for want of a better word, and it's been held down by all these cairns, like netting over fruit.
Or like a large sack.
Sack would be more appropriate, but it's more rigid than that, or at least it would have been more rigid than that, you feel.
So like a crate type thing?
Coffin deity.
Crate is maybe closer. Could I get what's like a strategy check? Could I get a raw int from everybody?
15.
11.
20, unnatural 20.
Unnatural 20.
Nat 1.
Sorry, buddy. Augustine, you've dodged your way out of your own fair number of scrapes, have you not?
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever tried to ambush someone?
Oh, absolutely.
Have you ever set up your terrain to ambush someone?
I was thinking more in a city type ambush.
What occurs to you is that these long cairns block off enough of the entrance to these valleys that you could almost imagine them to be maybe fortifications.
Oh.
So these aren't cairns in terms of like tombs, and the fortifications are below us.
How big are the cairns? Sorry.
They're maybe 20 or 30 feet long, 5 feet wide.
Oh,
okay.
right. I was imagining like a small pile, like the biggest being about the size of my palm.
No, no,
Well,
no.
I
They
was
are-
I was thinking bigger than that, but I was thinking like big enough to contain a single human body.
No, they're much longer than that.
Okay.
Right.
Question that I've got: these cairns,
Mm.
do they look like they have been here since before the continent raised?
For sure. There is sea mud, fish skeletons, bits of old seaweed stuck it dried, incredibly fossilized seaweed in there, like lignified at least.
Okay. That changed my mental picture a little bit.
Good question, mate.
Think what we're
So,
going to do.
When this was a refugee camp, was it likely to be underwater? Trying to.
It wouldn't have been, as far as you understand your knowledge of the as far as you understand your knowledge of when the fall and the rising happened. This was a fairly nice forested continent before it got sunk.
Interesting.
And then got sunk. Now it's a desert.
So, built the refugee camp, continent sunk, continent raised, then we arrived.
Yeah.
Okay. So do they appear to be? So the cairns, are they kind of funneling us in a particular direction?
If you had to go around them rather than over them, they would funnel you. Yeah.
Right.
And is that in? Is that gonna be?
That would be towards the kill box that it would be funneled.
Yes.
Did
It
I
depends.
a perception check from specifically Misty and Will?
That is
I'm
a
gonna-
nat 20.
You
12.
12 on a nat 20. You just happen to glance down at your data pad, and you get for a millisecond, just the briefest fraction of a second, a connection ping, and then it fades.
So
Is it
there is
below us?
something here. You would want. Yes, we're probably being funneled, but that's probably the entrance at the same time. Depends if the defensives is still active or not.
Could I maybe dig at the, just a bit, at the base of one of the cairns and see if it goes down a lot further?
You can, yeah. I'm not even going to make you roll for that. It is you dig down a little, and there is nothing underneath this sort of plastic layer, but you do find like more of this plasticky stuff a little further back. It looks like it would have joined at like a right angle to the layer that is going under the rocks. The material, now that you get a better look at it, also on that natural 20, that's like printing material that you're familiar with from your site, your sub-site.
So do they like 3D print some barricades and then pile rocks around them?
That's not an unreasonable decision, yeah. Or more likely, now that you realize it, they printed them and then filled them with rocks.
Right.
Interesting.
So there would be nothing beneath this plasticky material. We're not like walking on another roof.
Unlikely, no.
Okay.
So
Feels like whatever we're here to find is beyond.
yeah, my suggestion is we continue on. We follow where this is funneling us, but we should be on our guard because if there are any automated defenses, I very much doubt that will be whitelisted. Although we will classify as kind of human. We'll be classified as injured humans. So,
Hopefully.
yeah.
The direction that we are moving in, that we are being funneled in, this is the route that an enemy would have taken to get to this location, wouldn't it?
Or anyone who was accessing the labyrinth.
Okay. So there isn't a way of figuring out if there is a friendly approach.
No.
Okay.
Not that is immediately obvious.
And I guess just follow the funnel. And be careful.
It's the
Sorry.
only choice you have, really.
We'll follow the funnel and we'll be careful.
On that natural 20, Misty,
Yes.
the blip that you got reappears as you go a little further in. Not like much, maybe 10 feet further in.
Could I surmise that the signal is so weak that it's struggling to properly connect? Or
Basically.
okay.
Or what was the or?
Or that it's closer towards a sonar ping, like it's being sent out in a pulse,
It's rhythmic.
and it's
rhythmic connection
Yeah.
rather than.
There is no rhythmic connection to it.
okay, cool. Yeah, because that's fine. Either we're getting close, or we've already wandered into a tracking system.
In fact, as you walk another 15 feet, it disappears completely.
Can I walk back 15 feet to see if it starts coming up again?
Yeah.
Will,
Yeah. Yes.
can you come stand here and do your on-off thing?
Okay. I'll stand there. Am I getting the ping now that Misty's pointed it out?
Yeah.
Okay, and we know the forward backwards direction that where the strongest point of the signal is. Could we try moving side to side to see signal strength, so we can see which direction it's in?
Roll me raw int.
I am going to use the other dice.
Is that just Will who's...
Anyone can assist with this, to be honest. Anyone can give it a bash.
it's not very good. 14.
Also 14.
Oh, my dice on the floor.
14's actually not that bad. I would say you can't find specifics, but the direction you're looking is down.
Damn.
Yeah, that was going to be my next.
You can get it to a maybe 10-foot wide square.
Have we got rope between us?
Yeah, we got rope.
Oops. We have some rope there.
Can I tie rope around my waist and then at the other end secure it against one of the cairns?
The voice rings in your head. Don't go delving into anything you shouldn't.
Not now. I'm sleuthing.
I'm sleuthing.
Can I stand at the strongest point and then speak into my translation skull? Open.
Cool. That's a really interesting word choice. You see a communication channel gets opened. And you see you know how you have a picture on your one, and like back in Subsite 334, you had one of Will sort of and then it was snapshotted. You see a picture pop up on your datapad of a soldier. He's wearing a black uniform. He has big eyes and domed, sort of bilobed head. Looks serious, quite handsome, a beard, and is wearing some kind of square monocle over one eye.
Interesting. Requesting entry for emergency aid.
You get the sense that nothing is understanding or picking up on what you are saying. When it says communication channel, it's like the same communication channel you used a few days ago to talk to Ignatia, not the kind of communication channel you have with Leviathan.
Interesting. So, how am I going to do this? So,
Directory.
can I?
Sure has a shovel. She just takes it out and starts digging.
So can I get a? Yeah, I mean that's probably what we got to do.
Cool.
But can I bring up Bob again? And so I'm talking, and he's kind of translating. Requesting aid. We're dying.
Send a quick message.
Ooh.
Okay. I really don't want to die out here, so get digging.
You start to dig.
Yep.
The packed earth of the desert, baked as it is hard. But as you get through it, where it has almost slightly turned to sandstone for the first few inches, just for the compaction of the water running through it. You break through and there is softer rock beneath, but you are still digging through rock.
Yeah.
You get down a foot of this sort of scrubby hole and then another foot. And then your shovel strikes something not like hard or metal, just sort of a different texture. And you scrape down and you see the back of a jacket.
I thought this was where there's a
It's a personal communication device that we've been pinging.
Like, pull it.
As you pull the jacket, you can feel very familiar texture. In fact, the texture that some of your party members are wearing, or at least a similar kind of thing.
Right.
And a couple of bones clatter out, as well as a shattered eyepiece, and what looks like a sort of hoop earring that would go around the pinner of the ear.
Yeah.
And you can hear like audio feedback coming from it, like this. Not that you would understand what that is, but you can hear like this high-pitched, keening whine coming from it.
I think I found who you're talking to, dearie. I don't think he's going to answer though.
The bone is crumbling and dusty and dry and so fragile. But as you begin to pull more of this person out from under the rock, you can see that his armor absolutely did its job. Because the only bit of him that's touched is this section of his head, which has had something put through it at absolutely great velocity. Could you roll me Arcana, Religion, or Medicine? Different information on successful checks.
Any of us?
Oh.
Anyone?
I believe that is going to be 15 for Arcana.
22 for medicine.
22 for Medicine. It's not just kinetic concussive force that has caused this. There is some kind of burn that has appeared around the wound as well.
In case it matters, nat 20 on medicine.
Radiant damage has been done to this skull, as well as the kinetic damage of some kind of sharp bladed weapon.
I got 18 on religion.
Looks like the
This guy got smote.
like I think we all kind of come to the same conclusion around the same time. I don't think the refugee camp stayed a refugee camp for very long. I think some of the gods might have found them.
Yes.
Is there a functioning data pad in addition to the
There's
ear
communication.
No, there is no kind of data pad. You can see that if you're fully pulling this person from the ground and like assembling it, you can see that he's got like a combat, almost like rucksack on, and is wearing a very aesthetically different set of armor to you guys, but it does have some of the same similarities. It may not be phase fluid armor, Doralus armor, but it's military grade armor. It is rent and corroded and useless armor. It's got holes and it's tattered to like, if you left plastic out for 21,000 years under the sea, what would it look like? It would still be there. We're killing the planet, but it wouldn't be serviceable as an object anymore.
Oh, so this entire campaign is just an allegory for recycle.
It's an allegory for a lot of shit, Ryan. I got some stuff to work through, all right?
Joe, I've sent you another message.
I have noted.
Is it possible to take a sample of this armor?
Yeah, for real, absolutely.
Like, appreciate
like
it.
as we kind of like shake the bones out of him, I just like
Grabbing the earpiece. What happens if you close the channel, the communication?
The wine stops.
Just.
this guy was stationed at the edge of the camp, though. Probably.
I mean, if you're a soldier protecting.
This is likely to be a guard.
Did anyone else hear that?
Hear what?
Hear what?
What deity?
Just heard something say, "Lugete nobiscum," means mourn with us.
I didn't hear.
I heard it too.
I didn't hear a thing, deity.
Looking around, are we surrounded by ghosts or something?
I do eyes the grave again, just to look around.
There's a trace, for sure. They're creatures, but like maybe it's just being this close to an unburied person, someone who was left to. You've seen the effects of desecration. Intentional desecration can cause ghouls to form overnight, but someone just left to die in the dirt can have an effect.
Yeah.
Can so could we respectfully gather up the bones and perhaps
make a little can beside the big can?
Yeah. It'll be a shallower grave probably, but it'll at least be marked. And then
roll me, and I'm really happy to get to say this phrase. Roll me in a religion check.
Ooh.
Does that still use the religion stat?
It would still use the religion check, yeah. It's more about knowing what not to do.
20, not natural.
I've only got a 6, so I'll help carry the bones, and that's probably my limit.
Cool, that's fine. On a 20, you gather up in a very respectful but not worshipful way, and begin to place stones around them and inter this person. Yeah.
I know they don't practice any religion, so they're not going to get any prayers of any kind. So
Will is going to salute.
We could still thank them for their
Should.
service.
Yes. We'll just hold his salute for a bit.
a soldier's burial. Yeah, we bury this unnamed soldier with a square monocle.
Cool. Yeah, what would you like to do?
I suppose continue onwards because we
Just to double
picked up
check,
the
the ping that we were getting was from his earpiece.
Yes.
We need to
Is the monocle techie as well?
You look over to the. Did you pick up the monocle before you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It looks to be made of some kind of borosilicate glass or something. But it does have little tiny runes etched into the. It is magically technological. It is smashed, and lens repair is a difficult task. It would be no small feat to repair this. It is possible in theory.
Probably better to leave it with its owner then.
Yeah, if we've...
Yes, Stevie.
I mean, Augustus can roll sleight of hand if Rich wants to grab it anyway, but yeah, Will is happy to just leave it with its owner.
Cool.
We need to find the center of this camp, whatever the.
Yeah, so if this was the outside, can we continue to follow the cairns towards...
You follow inwards past these sort of what are basically fortifications forming like natural checkpoints as you go through.
Lily's been on battlefields before a long time ago, but she knows from that experience a medical tent is going to be at the very center or very close to it. Like the only things that would be in the centers would be like command tents, medical tents.
Yeah.
Quick question back to when Ms. had the image of the user on screen. Did it say what level of access they had?
It didn't specify, no. Okay. Not through like the not at least not in what was displayed on the screen at that point.
Sure.
Rich, just to check, you've still got the earpiece, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Couldn't get away with it.
I couldn't.
I knew he had it.
Yeah. I was just checking to make sure that Rich hadn't put it in the cairn, because I think that shit's useful.
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that particular piece still works. Can use it. Now he's got his own personal talkie device. Mm-hmm. If we can make it work for him.
You head in a little further. The canyon walls, as you walk through, like, you cannot imagine a more perfect fortification, a more perfect hideout or place to defend than this. The walls of the walls are high, but the caverns, where they are not just perfectly straight, they're forming like little what would in a forest be a clearing, but this clearing is a couple of hundred meters across. It's huge. Anything you'd like to do?
Head towards the centre whilst keeping an eye out for any active defences, any network pings.
Can I use my datapad again to send the open request? How many pings am I getting off that?
Many.
70.
Say again?
70.
70. We're definitely getting closer.
Need to find what they're looking for, or we're in a lot of trouble.
Okay. Suppose this would be the first.
Is there an area with a high concentration of pings?
Yeah, definitely.
Or
there are areas with higher concentrations than others, for sure.
Yeah, okay, an area towards the centre which has a cluster.
Start digging.
Yeah, start digging. Can I get my sword to transform into a big metal shovel?
Sure.
I know in theory I can only transform it into weapons, but we all know they're projectile weapons.
I will let you transform it into an improvised weapon. So, yeah, you got it.
What do you mean improvised? It's a ranged weapon. It's ammunition.
Oh, bow ammunition. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start to dig down, and you only get maybe 6 inches cracking this almost crust of light, roughly packed sandstone before you hit more material. But this isn't a jacket, this isn't clothing.
It's a structure.
It is... Sorry?
It's a structure. Like a big plastic tent.
Canvas of some variety. Augustine especially, could you roll me just a raw wisdom check, please?
Is it everyone or just Augustus?
Just Augustine.
Sorry, Augustine.
You've seen that material before. Or at least that type of material. You're carrying some of it.
It's your bloody tent, isn't it?
It's tent canvas.
Ah.
Do you recall how your tent is erected?
It's like inflatable, like it has an internal motor thing.
Electrical current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the Batman cape type stuff.
Yeah.
So do we think that if I were to electrically charge this thing, it would spring up?
Give it a go.
I will
That's
stand
great,
back
yeah.
and I will use my other spell slot.
Well, do I have the one from the tent that we ripped up?
Oh,
You do have. Yeah, you do. Yeah.
Just use that. Like put it against the fabric and.
Have you ever blown up an air mattress
Mm-hmm.
with one of the little foot pumps?
oh God.
Have
You-
I
you-
ever?
You know what I mean? Have you
Yeah.
ever tried to do that to a bouncy castle?
Yes, actually, yes.
That's kind of the same.
Also, it's got a lot of rock on it as well.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. Like the material definitely tenses and stretches, but it doesn't form into anything. Like you're affecting maybe like a 6-inch square of it with this tiny motor.
Okay, so I will go around and I will use my improvised shovel to break up the earth a little bit more, break up the sandstone a little bit more all around it,
Yeah.
and then I'm going to witch bolt it.
Okay. Interesting. It's not how it's supposed to work, but I'll allow it.
Were we supposed to find a switch to turn it on?
Roll. Your witch bolt is now 2d12.
2d12.
Roll a minute's worth of witch bolt.
Okay, a minute, that's 10 rounds.
Yep. So
20d12.
20d12. Yeah, go for it. And then give me the square root of that number.
It's 106. Do you really want me to square root 106?
I've already done it.
Okay.
About a 10-foot wide section of this. You hear this awful cracking sound as the stone sort of dislodges. And you can see a little bit of what lies under the canvas. It's skeletons. Hundreds of skeletons. A dozen even under this 10-foot area that you've raised up. And all of you hear a whisper on the wind. Look at it.
So is that the Lugeta Nobiscum that I heard before?
Just the word. Look at it. Oh, damn it.
So you keep cutting out because you're whispering.
It's still working, isn't it? Yeah. You're getting the same words through. Imagine I was doing a really creepy voice that's really genuinely good.
I'm there.
Yeah. I'll do it for you next time as a treat.
That's good. Yeah,
Yeah.
We'll have for a treat for later.
You can actually see on the underneath ripped pieces of this canvas, little sort of node lines, almost like the on the walls of the immortal sites you've been in, or the immortal sub-sites you've been in. You can see like the sort of circuitry on the walls, or on the translation skull as well. That kind of circuitry patterning, where it's infilled with this sort of grainy grey material. On the underside of this canvas, which by the way is, half an inch to an inch thick, you can see little nodular lines in much the same effect of like circuitry, but this is stitched into the material, and is like a network that goes through this material. It looks like this is what you energized when you witch bolted it. Yeah.
Can I track back to where the on switch might be?
I'd say any of you can roll an investigation check to that effect. Because energy flows like water. I mean, around a circuit, it's plumbing, just of a different variety, so anyone could get this.
That'll be 15 for me.
11.
22.
9.
Ryan? I'm sorry, buddy. It's not been your day.
That's the other dice as well.
Yeah.
I have
This
a
is-
player
this-
who rolls consistently bad, Like not low, not high, consistently bad. He had a check where he needed to roll low. He rolled a natural 20, two of them. He was at disadvantage. It's
He
like,
rolled unfortunately.
yeah, all
Yeah.
the time.
Augustine, you follow this sort of network as far as you can see it, and you can see kind of where it's moving from, get a little bit of the sense of it. And you travel over to one side of this sort of cavern. The cavern itself has no roof, like it is open to the elements above. But it is sort of hemmed in on, sort of 300 degrees of the round. And you dig through the dirt just like with the tip of your sword or your foot, and you come up with this long black snake of you pull it up. Would you know what an electrical cable is? I suppose you would have seen them in other
Seen them
market
in-
sites.
yeah.
You see cabling. Yeah. Pulling
Does-
on the cable, you see that some of it leads down into this tent and some of it leads up into the it's sort of into the rocks a little higher above this circular canyon. I'll actually draw a little bit of this on for you, just to give you a sort of slight sense. So, like the
Just had a thought, out of character. What if it's essentially solar powered, and the receptor for it has been caved in on a little bit, so it's only getting the sunlight at dawn and dusk.
you are you going to try and climb up a bit to follow where this cable goes, or you're basically trying to scale a wall, so it is pretty difficult. So, can I get either athletics or acrobatics from Augustine, please?
Can I hand him my potion in the hopes that might help him?
You absolutely can. You uncork a test tube, and Augustine, you see Misty hands you a vial of blue smoking liquid with an expectant look on her face.
Yes.
Please do let me know the effects, and I'll pull out like a
A notebook.
Fucking wax.
yeah, a notebook.
Glug.
Now, I don't know if you've ever drunk a whole can of Red Bull without stopping to breathe in between sips. But if you could somehow bundle them together, like, you know how you can bundle dynamite together and then light it with one fuse? If it were possible to do that with Red Bull, that is the effect that your body goes through. It is not necessarily pleasant, but you feel unhealthily energized. For the next minute, you will roll and add a d4 to every attack roll and saving throw. That is a potion of, an elixir of boldness. Yeah.
Nice.
So what was the athletics or acrobatics there?
I rolled 16. I don't
16,
think
fantastic.
I can use a moment token on it. No, I'm not proficient, so I can't.
Right. Cool. You clamber up this, sort of just like shinning roughly up this rock wall. And then you do find yourself quite some feet above the ground. You're basically going around the circle, let me draw it on, around the circle this way.
Mm-hmm.
And as you follow this cabling, which is stapled into the wall in the cracks, reasonably well hidden, you find yourself maybe 40 feet off the ground. You've got, for all that Augustine is a banker, he's not a blushing violet desk jockey. Your hands are weathered and they have strength and grip as you slowly but surely, painfully make your way up this crevasse. The cabling does give you something to hold on to. And eventually up here at the top, I can't do a circle with this shitty pen, but allow it. You find yourself hauling yourself over a ledge. And inside, you can see actually over the top of some of the Rocky Canyon walls ahead of you to the south, and it looks like bits of this room have caved in. In the center, much, much larger than the one you saw at Doralus, is a Paytax camp cover device, a hologram generator.
Is it intact or has the damage also covered that as well?
It looks dinged up, but not destroyed. Yeah, and additionally to that, you can see these big black panels, which are laid out like the petals of a flower around it. The cabling leads from those black panels into the Paytax device and down the cable you just climbed up.
Like Rich knows how a solar panel works. Augustine does not know how a solar.
You're
panel
more than welcome to yell this down to the others while you don't have to.
Yeah, I will do so. There's another one of those things that made the rocks appear at the other sides.
Is it working, dearie?
I can't tell. We've not encountered anything illusory apart from the things in the morning and the night and the stuff.
Has it been knocked over?
No,
it's
it looks
disrupted. Certainly, yeah.
Say again.
It's been disrupted. Certainly.
I mean, I can steady it, but I don't know what I'm doing up here.
Perhaps
Drop a
perhaps
rope.
we need to send... Yes, drop a rope. Have a Misty come over
I mean,
here.
the column that the device sits on is perfectly sturdy enough to support a. It is just a rock pillar that is perfectly sturdy enough to support a rope. Yeah.
Oh, it's a good thing I brought 50 feet of rope with me.
That gets you 10 feet below the bottom. Perfect. Yeah, I'm not going to make you guys roll athletics checks to get at the rate. You can do it over the course of a few minutes.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Can we clear it out of the rubble and have it sit flat to begin with?
Yeah. Roll me an Arcana check.
I think that's only a 10. That is a 10.
10. Okay. You get definitely the inference that this is energy generation. Like, you're familiar with circuits, even if you're not familiar with this type of circuit.
Right.
But how it works is a little beyond you for now. But yeah, between you can get the things righted and set up in the right orientation. A couple of the hinges are busted, and there's some corrosion of the cabling in places. So it may not ever work as it did before. But yeah. The panels sit dead and inert.
Is the panel dusty and stuff?
Yeah, for sure.
Can we polish that up?
Yeah.
Because
You
if it's
clean
trying
the
to
grime
emit
of years off it. Bear in mind, this whole place was still miles underwater, so there's a thick film of mud on there as well. That's never really been touched.
Yeah,
Yeah, you begin to clean it, and yeah, this black glossy panel appears underneath.
Huh. I was expecting an emitter.
Used up.
Okay.
Leviathan.
There may be an auxiliary power unit somewhere around here.
Thank you. I'll let the others know. Leviathan says there may be an auxiliary power unit somewhere around here.
Oh, like a backup generator to get the main one going.
Something like that.
Does the cable... Because obviously you've got a big cable leading down. Is there another one connected to this?
Yeah, certainly. There is more cabling in this room. Some of it leads behind the rock fall behind you. Some of it leads down to different parts of the cave. The cable that Augustine climbed up is not the only one that is stapled into the walls. These big, thick, sort of rock pins rather than staple shaped, but yeah.
Yeah, that rock staples. So,
Yeah, rock staples. Rock staples are. We're rock staple people.
Yeah. The cave in, how permanent does that look? Like, are we talking a few rocks have barred our way, or it's now become structural?
It honestly looks like there is no structural damage. This is rock that has been deposited there on the seafloor.
Right. So if we start clearing it away, nothing's going to come crashing down. It's just going to clear it away.
Yeah, no, completely, yeah. I mean, from what you knew of the Patax device at the other at Doralus, it was open to the elements and needed to be to do its job.
I'll look to the strong people in our group and go, can we clear off those rocks?
When before we do that, when Will mentioned the auxiliary power unit, I'll pat him on the back and say, "I'm so glad you two are talking again."
Baby steps.
Such a shit. Excellent.
Find this auxiliary unit and get this thing working again, and I'll help you clear off those rocks.
I might just want to sit down for an hour or so to catch my breath.
Fair enough, dear. You're not the one dying.
You guys,
I want to have a short rest before we do anything more because I'm out.
the three non-warlocks in the party, spoilers, begin to actually at this point might be a good time to try and absorb some of that Coyotl's swords. And you can see that Will is holding in his outstretched, like, bare hand as well onto this sharp blade, but it's not cutting. It appears to be, like, corroding, like it's having nitric acid poured over it, and it's just sort of almost the metal itself is rotting and crumbling and being absorbed into him.
I'm holding it in a metal hand, so, you know.
Yeah. You guys are, you begin to clear away some of the rubble, and yeah, it is, most definitely, deposited rubble. There's been no structural damage to the place, bar the odd bit of, falling rocks from, like, shrapnel and explosions millennia ago. But you begin to clear, and you follow the cabling through, and as you begin to clear some of not just the rocks, but also the mud, which is baked and dried and being compacted into sort of this light crumbly stone. Underneath, you find another body crouched over this weird piece of silver machinery. And as you uncover it again, you hear, Lugete nobiscum.
What does that mean, dearie? I don't speak immortal.
Mourn with us.
Ah. There are a lot of you, dearie. Of course, once we can dig you out, put you all to rest.
Cool.
Continuing to.
You
Continue
move bones
digging.
aside and reveal this sort of silvery box with the cables leading into it. It has a digital readout on the side, like one of the slates with the hologram just above it, Would any of you like to investigate it further?
Have I had my
Hell
short
yeah.
rest now?
No.
Okay.
I don't know what, Misty. You're gonna have to help me out with this thing.
Yeah, for sure. Can I? Any idea of what the writing on the box says, or at the very least, what language it's in?
It's Immortal,
Yep.
for definite. Do you speak Immortal?
No. I think I've got the translation skull for that. I'm in the process of learning it, but it's way too complicated to have fully mastered.
Point of clarity, because this has come up a few times. Is Precursor different to Immortal? Because it's Project Immortal and...
Oh, sorry, yes.
That is intentionally vague. However, the language itself is Precursor.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
The lines between what is Precursor and what is Immortal and what those mean are
Just
both narratively intentionally blurry and narratively blurry in
Yeah. It's just like when you say it's written in a martel. It's like
Yeah.
I thought that's the name
Well,
of the project rather than written in a. Yeah.
It is written in precursor then, yeah.
But the modern civilization, they wouldn't we wouldn't necessarily say, "Oh, that's precursor." We just go, "That's Omartel," because Omartel is the name we know for the precursors.
So it is a little confusing. I will endeavour to remember to speak more correctly as a DM in future to players. But yeah, like in universe, certainly you'd be more likely to call it Immortal than Precursor. Yeah.
any idea, is it, from looking at it, what this thing does, or more importantly, how to get it started?
Well, you can point the skull at it and it'll tell you what the readout says, right?
The skull only does speech.
Oh, okay. In that case, no, Will is still having a short rest, so he can't go and subtitle.
Light reading certainly covers light activity.
Oh, okay. In that case, yeah, Will is happy to
other-
read it and read the subtitles.
It would say something along those like VPM01 auxiliary power unit.
It says VPN01 auxiliary power unit. Are any of the buttons labelled on?
No.
Can I connect to it digitally? And can I see the point to input the command on off?
Sure. Okay, so that's the two slightly different questions. You can't network to it, but it would certainly be a target for on off.
But if I do that, that does not count. That would interrupt my short rest.
It would.
I could potentially turn it on off in a bit, but I just need to recharge my batteries a little bit. Not literally. I don't literally have batteries, I don't think.
Well, let's see if it responds to voice commands, and I'll say into the skull on.
Do you like highs or lows?
Lows.
You see, like that slate panel where you're used to seeing the readouts appear. It is like cracked and produces like a partial image, but it does flare into life and basically starts giving like output readouts even. Like there are dials on there that could be switched up or down depending on what you wanted to do.
See what we're doing, but
Will, any idea what these readouts are in relation to? What systems?
Okay, Will will look at it and will relay to the group. So, Joe, if you want to say it and just assume that Will is translating it rather than me repeating exactly what he says. Because that was a funny joke twice, 3 times might be pushing it.
3 times a lady. Yeah, so you can see like habitation is one of them. You can see defense. You can see paytax unit. And I think that would probably be the limit of what is this would be hooked up to power.
What is defense set to?
0.
Good.
it's probably safe to be
So
fair.
when it start
I
powering
will
this thing
clarify,
up and then...
everything is currently set to 0. Yeah, everything is currently set to 0.
Okay.
So, have I heard of the word paytax before?
You have.
That's the big device in the with the paddles, isn't it? No, that's the hologram.
The hologram generator you have heard referred to in Doralus as a paytax.
That's it.
PETAX.
So I guess because we've got habitation, defense, paytax. Was there another one? No,
That's
that's
it.
another one. Habitation, then I guess. Let's get these tents erected. We
Makes
definitely
more
don't want to
sense.
touch the defense. Paytax, there's no point. We're not trying to hide from anyone.
Not yet, anyways.
Before we do that, every time we've disturbed these tents so far, we've disturbed the dead a little bit. If we suddenly disturb all the dead down here, is that not a concern?
Ordinarily, I would beseech the powers beyond my own to ask them what I should do in this particular circumstances, given that involves her domain. However, in this one instance, I think doing so might incur the wrath. I could try and speak to them directly as a shepherd of souls of some kind, and see if I cannot just convince them to lie resting for a little bit longer, with the
Worth a
promise that
try.
we will put
Give
them.
it a try. Otherwise, they may just upgrade from whispering to shouting. But
So
we're
I'll
not
stand.
gods, so
So I'll stand where I think, I guess, the center of the camp is then,
Yep.
and just kind of like generally beseech the area. We are about to put back your camp to what it was. There is every possibility that we will be disturbing your bones, your resting place, but you are not placed, you are not buried correctly, as you well know. My intention is to put right what was put wrong to you, to bury you, no matter how many of you there are, no matter how long it takes. Please allow us one transgression to fix so many others.
Okay.
The dead don't answer quickly, I can tell you that for sure. And I will just, stand and wait. Right. Go ahead.
okay. Habitation. Let's do it gradually. So I'll slowly bring it up to 25%.
You hear the cracking of rock all the way through this chamber as you see vertices appear, and like this sort of biodome looking tent begins to erupt through this thin layer of rock, the rock and dust cascading down, and even way up above, the three of you are choked by the dust. Lillian, standing down there, you are being pushed upwards onto the roof of this
Whoop.
tent. Could I get a dex saving throw, please?
That's fair.
Yeah. We're surprised that you chose to stay down there.
Like, it was the best kind of choice. Like,
I fully get it. I fully get it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
17.
Yeah, you make it pretty. Even like coughing as the dust is not helping your lungs, which have been affected by the phase fluid poisoning. But even so, you manage to sort of almost slide the last bit down as this comes fully up, and you can see even within the bigger covering, smaller coverings are also coming up as like subsidiary buildings inside are created. And from behind you, Lillian, actually looking under, the rest of you just see the dome of this tent with this little loose hole flapping in there. Actually, could I get everyone except Brad to mute me? Give me a thumbs up when you can see this.
Hang on. I can't actually see the damn camera anymore. I think you're muted. Oh, okay, yes.
Right. Sure.
Oh, I'll mute Brad as well, actually. It's all very tense right now, as Joe and Brad have a private conversation that I am not privy to. Interesting. Joe is getting very animated. I wonder if Brad will have to roll a new character. Lots of big.
Is that an
characters.
unmute request? There we go.
We are spoiler free once again.
Cool,
yeah,
cool. I thought Brad was just trying to mess with us by going, "Yeah!"
No,
Yeah.
you guys can see Lily is sort of standing in and even more than usual. Like, Lily bears herself like someone with the weight of the world on her shoulders. And even more than usual, she just looks so tired and beaten down and forlorn, bereft of hope. But you guys are free to do what you like. You can see Lily just takes a few steps into the tent and starts doing something in there.
Have I finished my short rest yet?
No.
I thought it would have taken like an hour to clear the stones out.
No, it was a 10-15 minute job.
Oh, I should have helped.
There, but for the grace of no gods, go we.
So can we see? So has Lillian disappeared into the tent?
Yeah.
So we can no longer see her.
No.
It's only at 25%.
Everything okay down there?
Lily will respond. Everything's fine, dear. You can calm down. I don't think anything here will hurt you.
So I'll bring the power to habitation up to.
No, leave it where it is. We'll head down. We can always come back up and change it again later if necessary. One thing at a time.
I don't know if you heard this bit. I don't think you did, but I'll repeat it now. Now that this tent has been fully revealed, at least the greater command structure, you can see that there are other smaller tents popping up inside. Mm-hmm. But the greater canvas is scorched and cut and has projectile holes in. This place has been absolutely laid waste.
We're not hearing any more of the Morn, the leg, whatever the.
No, you're not.
Okay, so well, I mean, yeah, I guess we climb down and enter the tent.
You shin down the rope.
I'm guessing this means that my short rest isn't happening. Shinning down the rope. Oh well.
You shin down the rope. You look under, and you can see what Lillian has been seeing this whole time. The bodies of conservatively 800 people have been piled. This is not they died where they fell. They have been piled. And the tent has been collapsed down on them.
So the tent, was it possibly itself, they'd used the tent to make a makeshift grave, which we've disturbed?
Possibly. But you don't know who did that.
And
now you are starting to hear the whispers. Lugete no bisco. Solo volamos lugete.
You probably see Lily taking the first of the bodies as she's kind of tried to make them and bringing them outside and slowly beginning to bury.
Could I get a charisma save? Sorry. Augustine, Misty, and Will. I will offer you all the choice to make a charisma save if you would like to make one.
Do we have any context for this?
You feel crushing, forlorn grief flood over you. The total absence of hope. You feel that this feeling would cause ferrofluid to flee you.
So that is a 7. My charisma saving check.
Cool. Will?
Will already feels vaguely hopeless. I think I'm going to choose to try and make that save.
Cool. You
just because, he's only just starting to feel hope, drive, purpose, etc. And yeah.
Anyway, go for it.
8. Natural 2.
So we had a 24 from Lily. And nothing above a 10 from the rest of you, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, but Lily kind of chose to fail a bit. So.
You did. You chose to acquiesce. So Lily, you feel this grief and you feel many hands making light work as you are sort of buoyed in your work, your observation of the morn. You other three, you feel the whipping of winds around you as that feeling of utter hopelessness and the bearing of your soul to the reality of the world and just pure grief wash over you.
A Thursday for Will.
You are knocked prone as you sink to your knees. Lily, you see this from the other three. And you three are affected by the possession effect.
What is that?
We'll find out.
Ah,
Lily,
okay.
Yep.
you see an army, or at least a refugee camp of ghostly spirits sort of wash into being. And now that they are speaking loud enough for the skull at Misty's belt to pick it up, you can hear what they're saying. We wish only to mourn. We wish only for you to mourn with us. Mourn with us. Mourn with me. Mourn with me. And you can hear from all over the camp, mourn with me. Mourn with me. Mourn with me. Mourn with us. Mourn with me. And you can see one particular figure walks up to Lily. The rest of you guys are effectively paralyzed, not by the paralyzed condition, but you are held still. And you see you see with this figure walk up to Lily, lay a hand on her face. Do you wish to mourn? Do you wish to see?
I wish to mourn and to put your bodies to rest.
Do you
Yes,
wish
I do.
to see?
Yes.
Very good. It is a bright, sunny afternoon. You can hear the wind beats of angels above. You can hear Aishna drones in the air above your unit as each of you holds your rifle to your chest and prepares for what is probably going to be the final moments of your life. And that's where we're going to pick up next time.
Sweet.